All right, and we're COMP123. It's 8:30, and it's week 4, lesson 4, part 3, I believe. I put the other 2 parts on YouTube yesterday. And we're, as promised, I'm talking about assignment 2. So we're into week 4. Next week, week 5, is when this thing is due. It's worth 5%. I know, it's a lot, right? One assignment every week. It's crazy. But the little ones. It's not big, crazy ones, right? And once you've done one, you kind of have the structure for doing the next ones. Okay, so here's it. Here's the new one. The superhero class. All right? So you might have thought that the hero class was maybe challenging for you, some people. Maybe most people did not. I'm hoping most people did not find it challenging. The superhero class is a subclass of the hero class. You need to have completed assignment number 1 to do this one, right? If you haven't completed assignment number 1, you'll be kind of a little hamstrung when it comes to this one here, right? It's a subclass of the hero superclass from assignment 1 and must include the following properties and methods. So again, superclass hero, properties, superpowers, a string array, right? This is a little bit more complex than the last one. Parameters, all the constructor signature is going to take all the parameters from the hero class, the original hero superclass, right? Methods, there's 2. A generate random powers method and a show powers method. Okay, so these are methods, the only methods you need to write for your new class. The other methods that you had from the other class stay the same. We're not going to touch the hero class. In other words, you have to include the hero class in your files, right? So this would be on top of that one. In fact, if anything, you could take the original hero class and the assignment number 1, the work you did on assignment number 1, and add to it, which is what I'm hoping you'll do, right? Not do everything from scratch. Although some of you may elect to do so, right? For whatever reason. Okay, so what is included in the superhero class? What do I mean by superhero? We'll talk about a little bit more of inheritance today anyway. So private properties, superpowers, a string array. So have you guys created string arrays before? I'm guessing yes, right? Again, a string array is an array of string literals, pretty much. The constructor method should take the same parameter as the hero superclass from the assignment number 1, and call the superclass constructor. And it will also call the generate random powers method. So inside the superhero constructor, you're going to call generate this random powers thing, right? Now, a generate random powers is actually a private method that you're going to be calling. And this is where all the marks are going to be, guys, because it's going to be a little bit more complex for this one method, right? The actual inheritance part should be pretty simple. I mean, really, we've talked about it today, but I'm going to look at this again next week from you guys and take a look and see how it goes. Again, the method randomly generates 3 random superpowers. That's why I said randomly generates random. From the following list of 6 powers. Hint, create a loop that picks from the power list 3 times. Make sure the resulting superpowers array does not contain any duplicate powers. So you have to figure out how to do that. There's many different ways of doing this. The structure, the construct that you'll be creating could be something like a list. And what you want to do is remove items from the list when you create your superpowers. There's different ways of doing this, different methods. And I think this is where you're going to have to work a little harder to figure out how to manipulate a string array a little bit. Make sure the resulting superpowers array does not contain any duplicate powers. Okay, and then assigns them to the superpowers array. So you pick from the list, this list down here, which I've kind of listed here: super speed, super strength, body armor, flight, fire generation, and weather control. So you've got like a 1 to 6, right? So it's like rolling a 6-sided die again, right? Which powers do you get? But you get to roll the 6-sided die 3 times. And if you pick the same power that you already have, roll again. That's what you want to try and do, or do something. There's other ways of generating this superpowers or generate superpowers method. There's different efficient ways to pick from a list 3 times and make it unique. Okay, so I'll leave that to you guys to figure out. A public show powers method. So this is a new method that doesn't exist in the hero superclass that will display the hero superpowers to the console, right? The rest is you're going to implement your superhero class by creating a new superhero object, just like we did the hero object. Have the hero call the show powers method to display a list of his or her superpowers, and then have the hero call the fight method inherited from the hero superclass. So we know that he still has the same ability to fight, or she has the same ability to fight from the first or from his original hero class. The rest is the same. Include internal documentation for your program and share your files in GitHub. Okay, so nothing too different. It's all it is I think the trick here is you have to understand how to declare a superpowers or this string array. I think that's a little bit different that you haven't seen before, we haven't talked about yet. We'll talk about it a little bit more hopefully today. And so that's the first thing. And the other thing is that how do I pick from a list? So I'm going to do a little bit of list manipulation, right? So a string list, if you will, or a string array. There's different ways of doing this thing. So, you know, if you don't remember how to do this, this is a good time to refresh your memory about how to manipulate strings, right? And again, I've kind of listed it off here as a few superpowers. If you wanted to get a few bonus marks, you could make this list longer. You can make it more complex. You know, if you want to be a little bit creative, you could change some of the superpowers to make them, you know, more funky, right? But at the end of the day, I put in 6. You could add as many as you like. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter because you're still going to pick 3 unique powers that are going to be part of your array. So it doesn't matter. I'll let you customize this to your heart's content. Okay. So a little bit of leeway in terms of your creation. Okay, and that's it for that. Any questions before I shut this one down? This would be part 3, right? Okay, we'll go over this again. I'm sure as we go through inheritance today, you're going to come up with some ideas. One thing I should mention is that next week, in one of the sections, and I'm thinking it's going to be probably day 2. So, for example, it'd probably be on the Wednesday of next week. We're probably going to have a short test. All right, so it won't be on day 1. So day 1 we'll still do a little bit of, I'll look over your superhero class. Hopefully you'll be ready by then. And day 2, we'll host a short test here in this room for about an hour or so. And then do a little bit of review of things that you need to do for your superhero class if we have time. If we don't have time, it might just be that I run the test for an hour and then give you a little bit extra time, because some people may need a little bit extra time. It's our first test together again, and you may not know how to do it. The test will include things like, I should mention, some of the multiple choice questions that I've already asked you on my little polls. So if you follow the polls and the videos, you have a better chance of getting higher marks on the test. There'll be some questions that I haven't asked. So there'll be some of those and some of the other ones I haven't asked. So you'll have a chance to, there's some things that you have to kind of put together for yourself. As well as there might be, and depending on how much time we have, I don't have to time this test, there might be a small section where I get you to look at some code, or as an example, and tell me what the output would be without actually putting it in the machine. So the test will probably be something that's I generate for you online. All right, so mostly, there might be 2 parts to it. So there'll be no paperwork. All right, I don't do that. That's like passé. All right, so it'll all be generated online for you. Right, and if you answer the questions or whatever online, we should be able to kind of put together something that auto marks everything for us. Any questions around the assignment? So assignment number 2 that we just handed out, or the test for next week. So next week again, tests. Second part of our week together. So week 5. One part is going to be a lecture part. So that would be the Tuesday, right? And then the Wednesday at this time frame, 8:30 in the morning, right? Which is kind of a pain in the ass for you guys, because I know some of you guys are struggling to get here by 8:30. I will start off with the test, right? Again, I'm planning it to be about an hour or so. Shouldn't be more than that. I'm counting on some of you needing more time, but only because it's the first time we're doing a test together. If you've done my assignment number 1, and you're working on assignment number 2, the test shouldn't be that difficult for you, right? Because it's going to be the same format. Like any kind of things that I ask you to do, like 1 mark, 2 marks, 3 marks, anything like that, it'll be on the test just like this. My exams will be very similar as well. So when you get a midterm exam, it'll look like an assignment. Like it won't look like, a test that's just multiple choice. You'll have a part of it that's an assignment piece, and there'll be a part of it that'll be multiple choice for things from a knowledge testing perspective. Any questions relating to the tests for next week? Yes. No written test. It's all online. So you're going to do everything on. I'll have most of it if I can. I'll try and generate everything on My Centennial if I can. If I cannot, there might be a part that you do on Visual Studio that you upload to a Dropbox or something like that. It'll be a combination. I'll figure it out. But for now, we'll as we go forward, I'm going to try and make it so that there's no paperwork because I hate paperwork. I think it's ugly, right? So, and it kills trees. No reason for it. Any other questions for the test? It will not be closed book. I don't do closed book tests, right? But like I said, for the if you have notes and everything else, like for example, if you're taking notes for these things that I'm giving you, like these little multiple choice questions, you can certainly use those. But again, I'll be including other multiple choice questions that I have not given you, right? So a bit of a mix, right? So if you're attending class and you're watching the videos and you're doing stuff, you should do well. If you're not attending class, you're not watching the videos, and you don't do the assignments, you're going to do poorly. It's pretty simple, right? I mean, it's very straightforward. So, and I'm not a crazy hard test maker or marker anyway. So as you'll see, when you get back your first assignment, I'm planning to get your first assignment back before you do your second. We start talking about your second assignment next week. I'm going to try and get it back as soon as possible because that way we're on track, and then you have some information about how you're doing as we approach midterm. Okay.